Hi, this is James Melendez, James, a wine guy. I want to talk about hosting a wine tasting event at your house. And this could be a blind tasting or non-blind tasting, but I think that there's just some really easy elements to put together for a successful, wonderful wine tasting event. So obviously you're going to have your wine guests come, and I would provide the following. I would consider providing a little bit of nibbly items, maybe a cheese, bread, etc., and to assemble obviously the wines because that is the mainstay of the event. But there's some things here that you're going to see that are probably no-brainers and no kiddings. But I think here is the things that have made my wine tasting events really successful. I have them here at my house, and I've learned over time what really works. And I think for me, I love blind tastings. I think my guests love blind tastings. And I think that's the point of discovery. You're going to discover what everyone likes. Everybody discovers what their palate is finding to be really interesting and fun. And there's always a discovery to be made by someone. So once you've chosen your theme, you could choose all white wines, all red wines, all wines from South America, Syrahs from around the world. I think there's just so many opportunities to try different wines. So I'll just talk here about a blind tasting, and I'll show you some of the tools that you can bring together to have your wine tasting. So I definitely recommend a wine tasting sheet. This is something really simple to do, and it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, or however many bottles that you might have at your event. I list things like color, nose, mouth, body, notes, and varietal. So I give one to every guest. And I don't always expect my guests to have anything to write with, so I provide pencils for each of them. And then I've decided this is going to be a blind tasting, so I'm going to have paper bags, and I'm going to tape them up, and I'm going to number them, so I can have 1 to 15, 1 to 10, whatever the number might be. So later on, I'm going to put some of these bottles into the blind tasting, and so that nobody knows what they are tasting. Obviously, you need a wine opener, so here's one wine opener. And what I tend to do is if I have some wines ready to go, I'm going to open up before everyone gets here, just to get a head start. You're going to find that people get to your place, and they're going to probably all rush in at one time. And so you don't want to be opening wine bottles all at the last moment. So another essential tool is the wine pourer. This is really a nice tool because, believe me, if you don't have this, you're going to have drippings everywhere. So for me, this is a nice way of directing the wine going to the wine glass. But I've also found that a tablecloth is really essential. And this is a nice one that I don't mind getting a little dirty. So it's a really nice thing to have. And of course, the requisite wine glass. So you must have that. Have a host of wines ready to go. And I always have a bottle of water to take away from my guests, so they can take that with them. And make sure that you provide a pitcher of water so they can clean their wine glass from one tasting to the next. And maybe you could provide bread or crackers so they can cleanse and not have to have their mouth coated with something and not be able to try the next wines. Also, a dump bucket is absolutely essential. And I would encourage your guests to, if they don't like their wine, to be sure to dump it in the dump bucket. But also to be cognizant that they don't have to drink everything that they have, especially if they have a long drive back home. You want to also monitor that. It's not a big deal, but you just kind of want to also not encourage everyone you don't have to drink everything in your glass. So with these few items here, this is all you need for a successful wine tasting party. For more wine reviews and other wine tips, please go to my blog, jamesawineguide.wordpress.com, jamesawineguide.com, and please subscribe to my videos on YouTube. Salud!